Okay, so look at what we got here. So I did get everything off and got everything out. There's stuff scattered all over the bench. I'm trying not to break the new globe that I just got. It's pretty smart, not really. But yeah, this is where we are at right now, and it looks pretty much like a mess, which it kind of is. So let's just kind of go through some stuff here. This may not be entirely a real long one. I just wanted to kind of catch you up on what we're doing. So I did get obviously all of this out of here. It was the application of heat with this, so it wouldn't get too crazy, and then uses some carb cleaner to loosen up some of that varnish. And then I was able to reset the spring on here, so I didn't permanently damage anything, so it'll spring back. It's just very gluey right now, and it needs to get a trip with some degreaser in there to get this all to come out, but I don't want to damage the plastic here, so I won't be using carb cleaner on it. I'll probably use something like a soak and simple green, or probably just throw it in the ultrasonic. Now the pip on here is very hard. It'll need to be replaced. Those can come out. You can actually use a fat Viton O-ring, and that's probably what I'm going to try doing, because that would be a very, very cheap fix, and I know that Viton works really well. The next thing that we've got, where are you? Well, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. So this is the actual torch part, or the fuel sprayer of the torch, that is the preheater torch, and so that's the part that screws in right here, along with all this other stuff attached to it. So these things are, there's a couple of parts on how these work, and so one thing to know is that you've got a nozzle right here in this, so I need to do a little bit more cleanup on it because it's still a little bit grubby, so I need to do that. So that needs to get a little bit more cleaning. The fuel, this is like the fuel mix nozzle, and you can see there is a cone in the very center point that points up. That's where the fuel comes out. Now in the end of this, which I am pretty sure you cannot see, there are two very tiny little dots. Maybe you can see them, maybe you can't. I don't know if this camera is any better. Maybe that works a little bit better, no idea. But at any rate, on the outside here, and I'm even having trouble seeing it with glasses earlier, there's two. There's one here, and they're on the outside of that cone. And what they do is that they take air in from here. So when this fount is pressurized, obviously air is at the top, fuel is at the bottom. This sits in the fuel, and this is air that is sitting in the pressurized air. So when you flip the lever down, you release the fuel, and also at the same time, because like this cap here not only seals the fuel, but it seals the fuel and the air. So once this is sealed, nothing can come out, whether it's air or fuel. So the second that you release that off, the air comes out around the other side, mixes with the fuel, and then atomizes into a fine spray, which then you can ignite. So even that is with kerosene, you can ignite kerosene, and that is what these are designed to work on. So the trick is that you'll usually get, if there's any kind of scuzz in the tank, it'll get up in here and then block this, and it'll block these two air holes, and you'll end up with a stream of fuel rather than atomized fuel. So I've used a pricker from another lantern to clean the holes. They now pass air. I've flushed this back through with carb cleaner. It now passes fuel through it, and so this is actually pretty much ready to go. I did finally manage to get the recalcitrant non-return valve out, and here it is, and we can see that the lead washer there has definitely had some squish applied to it, because it's pretty squash flat, but everything did come out nice. Nothing froze up, and so now what we need to do is that we need to take this end off of this. So you can see there's a screw blade there and a screw blade there. So what I'm going to do is hopefully find, if I'm lucky, no, I'm not lucky there. The bottom of this, of course, is completely filled with mess and yuck, so we're going to go ahead and cleaned that out, and that actually came out easier than I thought. And now I want to find a screw blade that's going to fit way down in there really nice, and then I want one that fits in here really nice. And so I know that this will probably fit in here really nice. We want to make sure it engages all the way. Oh wow, it does not go in there anywhere at all, so that's okay. So what I can do, look for my neck size down, get that to shake out, see if that goes in there like it should, which, that is a beautiful fit. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to chuck this up in the vise and hold the screw bit here, and that way I can push down on it and not really worry about damaging anything, because I know this one fits really good here. So this should get us unloosened really easy, just like that. And that is how you do that without any struggles. So, because some people try to use 2 screwdrivers and it's everywhere. No, chuck up your bit and you'll be good to go. So you can see this comes right apart here, and when it does, we got a nice big hole, and we've got a pip, and the pip does not want to come out. So I'm pretty sure that this is absolutely hard as a rock. It does actually have a little bit of spring in it, so I'm going to see if I can't get this to come out. That's the other thing too that I did. I am going to give this a little bit of carb cleaner. Hopefully that will loosen some of the gum up that's in there, and maybe we'll work it up and down just a little bit with a pokey item and try to get it loosened so it wants to pop out. There we go. And that is the spring and the non-return valve and the little pip on the end of it. And that pip is actually still soft. Shocking. Yeah, it is. It actually is still soft. Well, that's great. So, what I'm going to do is that there's some junk in this spring, which we're going to spray off. Clean that up. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this, and probably let me see, how does that feel? Yeah, boy, it still does feel good. So that's great. I can see through this, so that's great. Let me see if I can blow through this. Yep, that's the right hole. That's what she said. So, sorry, children. So this is looking fine here. We'll give it another squirt-a-rooney of this to make sure everything is kind of out and clear. And then we can reassemble, and then with any luck, we'll pump. So what I did when I sprayed this, because the way that I cleaned it up was just the way I cleaned up this, is that I used the oven cleaner that has the lye in it. So if you see oven cleaner that says no fumes, that's the wrong one. You want the one that has fumes and wants to choke you, because that's the one that has the lye in it, and that's the one that's going to work. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there, and we can see now with all that stuff out of there, this pip bounces up and down really pretty nicely, so that's good. We'll reassemble this. Is there any cleaning needed here? No, it looks pretty good. So we're going to reassemble this. And so this right here is what we're looking at, is the reason why these are not for Coleman fuel, because they do not have a positive shutoff. So a Coleman fuel has a metal on metal valve that will positively shut off the fuel flow, and that way you don't have to worry about fuel coming out. If this little rubber pip in here fails and this fount is pressurized, you're going to get pressurized fuel coming out of the pump, and that is the beginning of a bad day. So you don't want to do that. So what I did for this, because I figured there might be some buildup around here, and there was. So when I sprayed this with the oven cleaner, this is the end of the oven cleaner story, is that I I sprayed a bunch of oven cleaner down here to get that lye down there to start dissolving whatever might have been around this little stem here. And so when I was done, I let it set for about 15-20 minutes, took it out. I've rinsed the fountain with water, rinsed it with soap, set it out in the sun to dry so it's completely dry now. And a couple of good shakes, and this thing started moving, and then eventually it just kind of boop, shot right out, which was the best sound ever. So this guy goes right back in there. We're gonna go ahead and again use the largest screwdriver we own to screw this back down in, and then we're going to give this a little pump test to see if we can actually pump it up now. Because if you remember before, when we tried to pump this up, what happened, and so with these lead gaskets, you get them snug and you just give them like about maybe an eighth of a turn more and stop. You don't, if you can infinitely keep tightening them until all the lead squirts out, and then you got to get a new gasket, so don't over tighten them. Anyway, so if you remember before, this was not really necessarily working all that good. This has been soaking in the oil for a fair bit, so it should be nice and flexible and happy once again. And we should be able, aha, that's the sound I want to hear. So these are a little bit different in that with a Coleman, you'll just get the rush of air that goes through as that check ball moves out of the way. Well, you have to move the pip on that spring so it'll kind of pop. So you'll hear it kind of farting. And that is the sound of a happy Petromax pump. So that little farty noise, my inner 2-year-old is having a great time. I wonder if we can make different. Oh yeah, it's bassier. Ooh, even better. How about this one here? Let's see. Oh yeah. No, I think I like that one the most. Oh yeah, that's got some bass to it. Anyway, so the pump is now working again. So that's really, really good. We've got our preheater torch in pretty good shape, I think. This needs some degreasing so it can kind of work a little bit more smoothly. Or what I may end up doing is maybe just put a little. What can I put on here that's not going to wreck the plastic? I just don't want to wreck the plastic. Well, probably the best thing to do is it might actually be the oven cleaner trick. That should degrease everything really nice. I'm going to try that. So need to do that. That shouldn't hurt the plastic at all. This valve, or it's this is the shut off. Oh, come on, man. Fuel cap, and so the fuel cap has got a valve on it that lets off the air, because this is how you want to store this. It was a non-pressurized condition, because again, this doesn't have positive shutoff, so you need to release the air every time, so that way you don't have a potential for a great big mess if it seeps by that non-return valve. And incidentally, that's not the only non-return valve on this. This is the main valve stem and what they call the carburetor rod. And then, of course, this whole Preston vaporizer goes onto here, Preston loop. But it has another one right here, and I'm pretty sure that one is froze up too. So what we're going to do is probably get in here with this, because this looks to fit pretty nice, and see if it wants to come loose. It doesn't. I don't want to apply a whole lot of torque on that without holding that. So we need to get a little wrenching action. So I'm betting that this non-return valve can use a little bit of cleaning also. So we'll just pop that loose there, which comes loose really quite easily, and go there. Now, also when you're doing these, sometimes you'll have the lead gasket come out with the item that screws in. So this is the lead gasket right here on the bottom. You can see it sitting there. This other one here for the carburetor did not come out. It's still sitting right in there. It's quite squished, so we'll be careful when we put that back in. But so what we want to do here is check this out, and this This is really one of the most important ones because this foot valve right here is what keeps you from having a bad day. So this is what keeps all of your kerosene where it's supposed to be, rather than spraying all over you. So if this one is not in good shape, it will never shut off unless you relieve the pressure on it. So this one looks like it might need to be replaced because I think it's got a hole right in the middle of it. So let's look a little closer at this. Yeah, this one, I don't know, it may be fine. Is it gonna got all this other just absolutely terrible fuel sitting in there? By the way, I did filter it and put it back in here, and it really didn't get any better. But you know what? We may just try burning it because it still does light. So I did have some on a towel that I lit, and it took right off, so that's fine. So yeah, it may actually still work just fine. So let's see how this feels on here. It does seem like it's going to seal, although I think I would really like to get a new one. It might be something that we put together just to see if it works, or we might have to work on it a little bit later. But it does seem to move freely, so we're going to go ahead and spray through here. The bottom of these have got a little screen in them, and to filter the fuel. So sometimes those will get plugged up or varnished up, and you'll have a mess with that. So that is how those come out of there. Because this is just a single piece, and all this varnish is all coming right off. The carb cleaner got on it. You can see everything is coming off really quickly. So just a little bit of scraping here, and all that comes right off. And that way we don't have anything in the tank that is going to fall off and plug it up and cause trouble. So that's probably pretty good. Yeah, back to mopping to be able to see. Oh man, I'm telling you, winter can't come fast enough. People that are here in Texas are like, oh good, the warm weather's back. I'm like, why? I just don't even, yeah. So anyway, that's how this looks here. We're gonna spray this down a little bit more. Probably really should be wearing gloves on this because the carb cleaner can defat your skin, which is not a pleasant feeling. So I'm trying to get it dried off as quickly as possible so I don't have that problem. But we'll go ahead and drop that back in there, and then test for bounciness, which you know, we're always going to have a piece of baling wire around here to see how things work. And yeah, that's got good bounce and should be fine. While this is in here, I'm going to stick this in here, blow some carb cleaner through the whole valve stem assembly here, and clear out that way. And yeah, so this is looking pretty good. Oh yeah, I can feel that cleaner stinging on my knuckles underneath my ring. Probably not so good there. So right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and screw that back on. But yeah, I really think I need to get a new pip, and that's one I think I got to order from Bright Light because it's not a real it's got like an O-ring inside there. It's kind of different. So anyway, right, I got to get this stuff assembled in the right order, and probably, now that I think about it, I got more cleaning to do with this. And you know, I haven't really even looked at how this is working, even if it is passing any. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of spray coming out the nozzle there, so that's probably good. We'll just let it sit and soak through and clean itself out. So we'll set that probably on this can here where it can't melt anything down. But Okay, I think that's probably as far as we're going to take it here for right now, and then we'll come back and revisit when we're ready to reassemble with all the clean parts. But just kind of wanted to bring you up to speed on what we got here. I still got a few more things that need to be cleaned, like this and like this, so we'll go ahead and get those cleaned up, and then we'll start looking at reassembly and firing it up. So yeah, that is kind of where the Aida is sitting right now. Really good to have the pump working again. Making little farty noises, which is always great. Yeah, I do like the bassy. Very nice. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of where this one is. So yeah, we'll tune in here and next time, and we'll probably have enough stuff here to put it back together and make some fire with it. So hope you're enjoying the walkthrough of how this comes apart and goes back together. But yeah, we're on a good path here, and shouldn't be too long before we're back together. Until next time, keep them lit.